Archangel Michael says, "I order you to open this right now, for the voice that calls from beyond the veil is not one of fear, but of love that refuses to fade, a love that crosses the quiet boundaries between heaven and earth, a love that carries the weight of something left unsaid, something waiting in the light for your heart to hear." There are moments in life when time stands still and the air feels heavy, filled with something unseen yet deeply felt, a whisper that stirs your soul, urging you to listen even when you do not understand why, because heaven's messages do not arrive in noise, they come in the softest touch of grace. Type 1212 if you believe God is guiding you. The one who calls to you does not speak in sorrow, but in longing for you to remember the beauty of God's promise, the eternal bond that no distance, no silence, and no passing moment can ever erase. For when a soul departs from this world, it does not vanish into darkness, it walks into the arms of the Lord, resting in a light that never fades, and yet love keeps a thread between worlds, a sacred thread woven by faith, glowing softly in the quiet of your heart. Sometimes you may feel that gentle tug, a thought that appears suddenly, a dream that lingers too long, or a sudden warmth that wraps around you when you least expect it. Do not turn away from it, for such moments are not mere memories, they are reminders that heaven is near, that the ones you love have not disappeared, but now walk with angels, whispering through the grace of God's endless mercy. In the quiet stillness of your heart, they reach for you, not with hands, but with love that never died. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you believe God's plan is perfect. God's love is the bridge between every soul, living or gone, for His love binds what the world cannot see. He watches as you weep for what you think is lost, and He whispers to you that nothing truly perishes when it is held by Him. Every tear that falls is seen, every sigh is heard, and every ache in your heart is gathered gently into His care, for He knows the pain of longing and the comfort that faith can bring. In His arms, there is no separation, no loss, no distance too great for love to reach. The truth that waits for you is not meant to frighten but to heal, for heaven never sends warnings to harm, only invitations to open your heart wider than before. The one who calls wants you to understand something that your heart already knows but your mind has not yet accepted, that love does not end at the grave, and peace is not found only in forgetting, but in believing that God's grace connects every soul in ways that the world cannot measure. What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. This is the one moment that can rewrite your future, but only if you claim it now, because hesitation will only keep you chained to the same struggles. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. When Jesus walked among the people, He spoke often of the kingdom of heaven, not as a faraway place, but as something near, something within reach when the heart is open and the soul is still. In His kindness, He taught that forgiveness brings light, that love redeems, and that even the deepest pain can become the seed of faith if we place it gently in God's hands. So if the past weighs heavy on your spirit, if there is something you could never say or something you still carry with guilt or sorrow, now is the moment to release it, to lift it toward the sky and let heaven breathe upon it. The one who watches over you from the light does not wish for your sorrow to remain, but for your peace to grow. They have seen what you cannot, they have walked through the door that leads into eternal morning, and they know now how love truly feels when it is no longer burdened by fear or doubt. In that perfect peace, they remember you not with sadness, but with gratitude, for every prayer, every act of kindness, and every moment you shared becomes a part of heaven's eternal story. Type "I love God" to claim abundance through God's love. You are not meant to chase after signs or cling to shadows of what was, but to awaken gently to the truth that heaven is nearer than your breath. Every sunrise, every soft breeze, every quiet heartbeat carries God's whisper, reminding you that your life is precious and your faith is the key that opens unseen doors. The voice that reaches out to you is not bound by sorrow, it is guided by divine purpose, by a longing to remind you that you are loved beyond measure and that nothing of light is ever lost. Archangel Michael says, "The time to open your heart has come, for what waits on the other side is not a burden, but a blessing that has long been held in the quiet folds of heaven, carried tenderly by one whose love for you has never faded, not even for a breath." This message is not a weight to fear, but a thread of light reaching for you, asking only that you pause, listen, and allow God's presence to wrap around you like a warm embrace after a long and aching night. There is a sacred stillness that often follows the passing of someone you love, a silence that settles not just around you, but deep within, where words are no longer enough to hold the ache you carry. But in that silence, something holy happens. It is there, in that hushed space between sorrow and surrender, where God begins to speak more clearly than ever before. His voice does not shout, nor does it demand. It arrives softly, like morning light slipping through the cracks in your curtains, quiet but undeniable. You have been carrying more than you were meant to carry. The questions, the regrets, the things left unsaid, they have weighed on you like stones in your chest. But God never intended for you to live with heaviness as your constant companion. He watches you, and He weeps when you feel alone in your grief. Yet He also rejoices when you begin to realize that you have never walked a single step of it by yourself. Every sleepless night, every moment you whispered into the darkness hoping someone might hear, heaven did. The one who has gone before you is not far. You may not see them, and you may no longer hear their voice as clearly as before, but that does not mean they are lost to you. In God's kingdom, nothing loved is ever lost. Souls do not drift away, they are gathered, held, cherished, and bathed in light that never dims. What you feel stirring now is not your imagination, but your soul responding to a gentle truth. Someone in heaven has been asking God for one more chance to reach you, not to disturb your peace, but to be part of restoring it. You were chosen to hear this because your heart is still open, though it may be hurting. You were chosen because the strength within you, the strength you sometimes doubt, is the very strength that heaven trusts to carry this truth. It is not meant for others to understand right now, which is why it must stay between you and God. Some sacred things are meant to be held in quiet, protected like a flame in the wind. And so the voice comes, not with noise, but with love. It carries no bitterness, only a deep yearning to tell you what could never be said before. Maybe there were moments left unfinished, words that should have been spoken but never found their way into the light. Maybe there was pain, or fear, or confusion at the end. Or perhaps it was simply the overwhelming love that could not fit into a final goodbye. Whatever it was, it has not vanished. It has been held safely, waiting for your heart to be ready to receive it. Type 999 if you trust Jesus with all your heart. Jesus taught us that even when the body fades, the spirit lives. He reminded us again and again that life is not ended by death, it is transformed. And in that transformation, what once felt broken can become something holy. Through Him, peace becomes possible, even in the shadow of loss. Through Him, the impossible becomes real, and what we thought we would never hear again can be whispered straight into the center of our spirit. Do not be afraid to feel the presence that surrounds you now. It is not something to question or to resist. It is a gift, a final offering of love that refuses to be silenced by the boundaries of life and death. The message that waits is not complicated or frightening, it is healing, honest, and full of grace. It is not here to change your past, but to bless your future with peace that comes from knowing your story with them was not left unfinished. This is the moment to let the light in. This is the moment to let God reach into the places you've kept hidden and speak His love over every part of your story, even the painful ones. This is the moment where sorrow begins to soften, not because it disappears, but because it is finally seen and held with the kindness only heaven can offer. Archangel Michael says, "Do not turn away from this, because the voice that reaches you now is sacred, and the moment that holds you is a doorway into something your soul has waited long to feel. You have been warned not with fear, but with love wrapped in urgency, because sometimes, when heaven speaks, it does not come again in the same way." This is a final opening, a final invitation to listen before silence returns, not as a punishment, but because heaven honors your free will, even when it aches to reach you one last time. In your life, there have been moments when something inside you paused, without understanding why, as if your spirit was waiting for something just beyond your reach. Maybe it happened while looking at an old photograph or when walking into a quiet room that once held a voice now gone. Or perhaps it came in a dream that felt more like a memory than imagination. These are not coincidences. They are the gentle footsteps of heaven approaching, reminding you that the past is never truly over, not when love was real, not when the soul still remembers. The truth that someone in your family is trying to speak is not meant to stir fear in your heart, but to awaken something far deeper, a realization that their love has never stopped moving toward you. From the place where they now stand, there is only light, and in that light is a yearning to offer peace to the places in your heart that still tremble. They see clearly now. What they once struggled to say is no longer tangled in pain, and all that remains is the purest desire for you to hear what was once lost in the noise of life. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the money magnet brain wave and begin your journey today. Others are already awakening this hidden signal and watching their lives transform. Do not be the one left behind while abundance passes you by. Let yourself receive this not as a warning, but as a rescue. For so long, you have carried silent burdens, the thoughts you never voiced, the guilt you did not deserve, the wondering if they knew how much they meant to you. The truth is they did. Even in their final moments, God wrapped them in His grace and whispered your name into their spirit, letting them feel all the love you held but could not always say. What they bring now is not judgment or regret. It is clarity. It is peace. It is God's healing gift passed from their heart to yours. Type 1010 to affirm that God's timing is perfect. In the kingdom of heaven, there is no shame, no fear, no anger left to carry. What is left is only the deepest form of understanding, the kind that comes when you see with the eyes of eternity. From that place, the soul who calls to you now wants only to lift the weight from your shoulders and to remind you that nothing was ever wasted, not the time, not the tears, not even the silences. All of it is held by God, and all of it has led to this sacred moment where you are being asked to listen with your heart instead of your ears. Jesus, in all his compassion, walked among the grieving and the broken, not just to heal them physically, but to remind them that God sees every wound the world cannot. He reached into the hearts of those who mourned and brought hope where there had only been emptiness. That same hope now reaches for you. What is being revealed is not a secret for your mind to solve, but a truth for your spirit to receive, that love outlives breath, and that the ones who loved you do not fade into silence, they rise into God's light, where they wait for the moment your heart is open enough to feel them again. Heaven is not a far-off place hidden in the clouds. It is closer than you think. It moves around you in the quiet spaces, in the still moments, in the aching corners of your memory. And now, for just a little while, that door is open. Not wide, not loud, but just enough for you to feel a whisper that says, "I never left. I only changed form. And I am still loving you from where I am." This is not a goodbye. This is an eternal hello that your heart was made to remember. Do not share this with others right now, not because it is something to hide, but because some things are too sacred to be placed in the hands of those who are not ready to understand. This is your moment. This is your gift. This is your time to let God speak directly into the parts of you that still need to heal. What is being offered is not a story to explain, but a blessing to hold close and carry forward with reverence and gentleness. Archangel Michael says, "This door will not stay open forever, not because God withholds love, but because every sacred moment has its appointed time, and this is yours." The voice that calls to you now has waited patiently, held back by heaven's mercy, watching your life unfold with a love that never turned away. Now that the moment has come, that soul is reaching through eternity, not to haunt you with sorrow, but to release you from it. What they bring is not a burden, but a gift only heaven could prepare. There are truths that cannot be spoken in the noise of everyday life, truths that do not fit into the language we use, because they come from a place where words are no longer needed. You have been chosen to receive one of those truths, not because you are stronger than others, but because your heart is open enough to receive what others might dismiss or deny. And the truth is this: love does not die, and neither does the soul that loved you so deeply. They are alive in Christ, more alive now than ever before, and their longing is not to return to this world, but to leave a blessing with you before the light fades from this moment. There is something beautiful about the way God orchestrates these divine timings. It does not always make sense to the human heart, but in the eternal rhythm of heaven, everything unfolds in perfect grace. You may not have known you were ready to hear this, and yet something inside you has already been preparing for it, a quiet aching, a sudden tenderness, an unexpected memory that appeared without warning. That was not just you remembering. That was their soul pressing gently against the edge of your awareness, trying to be near again, asking for just a moment to be heard. Type 1111 if you believe heaven is listening. You might feel a flutter in your chest, or a tear that arrives without reason. These are not random emotions. They are signals from your spirit, signs that what you are feeling is real. When a soul reaches across the veil to deliver a message of healing, it is not done lightly. It is done with God's permission and heaven's blessing. What you are feeling is sacred. This is not the kind of moment the world often understands, which is why it must be held in quiet. The truth they bring is not for noise, not for display, but for peace. It belongs to you and to the God who loves you both. Sometimes, healing doesn't come through answers. Sometimes it comes through simply knowing you were loved, deeply, entirely, even when it wasn't always shown in ways that made sense. The soul who reaches for you now may not have had the words while they were here. Life, pain, pride, or fear may have kept those words locked inside. But now, free of that weight, they come to say what could not be said before, that you mattered more than you will ever know, and that not a moment spent with you was ever forgotten. They want you to know that your prayers reached them, even the ones you whispered through tears after they were gone. They want you to know that nothing you did was ever overlooked, that every sacrifice, every kindness, every time you showed up despite your own weariness, it all mattered. You may have questioned whether you could have done more. You may have wondered if you missed something important. But God sees your heart, and so do they now. The truth is that your love was more than enough, and the peace they now live in is partly because of it. Jesus knew the depth of human grief. He stood beside the broken-hearted and didn't rush their sorrow away. He wept with them. He stood in the pain, not to take it away immediately, but to show that God is not far off when we are hurting. He is close, closer than our own breath. And in the light of His love, even the voices of those who have passed are not lost. They are held, honored, and sometimes, just like now, sent back to deliver one last healing to the ones who still walk this earth with aching hearts. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brainwave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. So as you read these words, do not rush past them. Let them sit with you. Let them fill the quiet places where sadness once lived. The message you are receiving now is part of a divine promise, a reminder that nothing is ever truly gone when it is given to God. The soul that speaks now does not come with sorrow, but with clarity, with forgiveness, and with grace. They have no need to hold on to the past. They only wish to place peace in your hands, if you are willing to hold it. Archangel Michael says, "Heaven's light does not force its way in, it waits, with patience that only eternity can hold, for the moment your heart is soft enough to feel what words can never truly explain." This is that moment. A window has opened between what is seen and what is eternal, and through it, a voice filled with nothing but love reaches for you, not to bring fear, not to stir unrest, but to finally bring peace to something your soul has been quietly holding onto for far too long. Type 1212 if you know God is guiding your steps. You may not have realized it, but deep within you lives a longing that has never truly quieted. It might come in waves, it might rise in the softest hours of the night, or appear in memories that catch you off guard and steal your breath. That longing is not a weakness. It is a holy thread, connecting your spirit to someone who once walked beside you and now watches over you from beyond the veil. In God's great design, love is never wasted, and no connection made in His name is ever severed, not even by death. There is a presence that surrounds you now, not seen with your eyes, but known in the depths of your spirit. The one who has passed, someone you once held close, someone who shaped you in ways you may still be discovering, has come, not to open old wounds, but to close them gently, the way only heaven can. Their message is not one of drama or mystery, but of truth wrapped in compassion. And the truth is this: they never stopped loving you, not for a single breath. Type Amen if you trust in God, and share this heart-touching video with 5 loved ones to open the doors of blessings and miracles. From where they now stand, they see everything with perfect clarity. They see the moments you cried alone. They see the burdens you carried without complaint. They see how often you questioned your worth, how often you wondered if you had failed them. And from the depths of heaven's light, they want you to know that you did not. You were more than enough. You gave more than you know. And if there is anything they regret, it is not having said this sooner. But now, wrapped in God's mercy, they are free to speak the way their heart always longed to. Their soul carries no more confusion, no more fear. It carries only love, pure, whole, eternal, and it reaches for you now, not to pull you backward, but to walk with you forward, into a life more free, more at peace, more filled with grace. You are being invited to release the questions that have weighed you down, to lay them gently at the feet of Jesus, who knows the pain of unspoken words and the ache of things unfinished. This is not a message meant for everyone. It is not something to pass along or to be picked apart. It is a sacred gift, crafted in the stillness of heaven, carried by angels, and entrusted to you. Not because you are better or more deserving, but because your heart is tender enough to receive what others might ignore. You have always been more open than you realize, more in tune with the unseen, more sensitive to the quiet things that matter most. That is why you are the one reading this now. That is why you were chosen to feel this. Jesus did not come to this world to take away suffering. He came to walk through it with us, to show that even in sorrow, we are never alone. When He stood before the grieving, He did not rush their pain, He stood beside it. That same compassion surrounds you now. It covers you like the softest light, pressing into every place you thought was forgotten. You are not being asked to understand this moment fully. You are only being asked to let it be real. The one who calls to you does so with a gentleness that mirrors God's own voice. There is no fear in their message. Only a deep desire that you know the truth, that they are not gone, they are not lost, they are not erased. They are alive in the presence of the Lord, and their love for you has only grown stronger in the light of truth. They do not need anything from you except your openness, your willingness to allow healing to happen, and your trust that this is not imagination. It is intercession. It is divine timing. It is love, returning to you in its purest form. Type 1313 to affirm strength through the Lord. Let go of the fear that you are being misled or mistaken. Heaven does not deal in confusion. What you are experiencing now is clarity that speaks straight to the soul. You do not need to explain this to anyone, nor prove that it's real. The peace that enters your heart will be the only proof you need. And that peace, quiet, still, and lasting, will stay with you long after this moment passes, like a soft echo of something sacred that found its way into your life and made you whole again. So breathe deeply. Let your spirit rest. You are safe. You are seen. And you are being held not just by the arms of God, but by the love of someone who knew you before, knows you now, and will know you still when your own time comes to step into the light. Heaven is open, just for a little while longer. Let its truth settle into you like dawn after the longest night. Nothing has been lost. Nothing has been forgotten. Everything is held. Everything is love. Archangel Michael says, "This is your moment to be still, to let heaven speak without rushing to understand, without needing to explain." What's happening right now is not something meant to be figured out with your mind, it is something meant to be felt, gently and deeply, in the quiet space where your spirit still listens. This message is not like others you've heard before, because it does not come from the world, and it is not shaped by noise. It comes from God's mercy, from a place of light so soft and holy that even sorrow begins to breathe differently when it reaches you. The one who loved you, the one whose name still lingers in your prayers and dreams, has not faded into silence. They have only changed form, wrapped now in the light of Christ, no longer carrying the wounds or weariness they once had. And yet, with all they have gained in heaven, their heart still turns to you, not in grief, not in guilt, but in pure and holy love. They have waited for this chance, for this open door, where truth could come through, not to disturb your life, but to bring you the peace you have quietly needed for longer than anyone knows. There is a truth that lives in every soul, planted there by God long before we took our first breath. It is the truth that love, real, selfless, God-rooted love, cannot be taken, cannot be destroyed, cannot be buried. This is why you feel what you feel, even when the world tells you to move on. This is why your spirit responds when heaven calls, even in the quietest whisper. Because somewhere inside you, that truth still lives, and it is that truth that this message has come to awaken. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. This is not about a warning to scare you. It is a final reaching out before the silence returns. Heaven always gives us choices, not demands. And though God is gentle, His love is persistent. The soul who loved you has asked, begged, waited, and now finally, through grace, been allowed to reach across the veil to speak the words they couldn't before. Maybe it was because time ran out too soon. Maybe there were things they never knew how to say in life. Or maybe it was just that you weren't ready to hear them until now. But heaven knew. Heaven always knows. Type 1414 if you believe in divine protection. You are not being asked to fix anything. You are not being asked to change your life or carry new burdens. You are only being asked to open your heart enough to let this love in. The message is simple, and yet it will touch every part of you. They want you to know they are safe. They want you to know they are at peace. But more than anything, they want you to know that your love reached them. Every word you spoke in their memory, every prayer whispered through tears, every moment you kept going when it felt impossible, they saw it. They felt it. It wrapped around them like light. And it helped them cross through the veil with grace. There is nothing more they need from you now, except for you to believe that they are not lost. And that the bond between you is not broken. In Christ, nothing good is ever truly broken. In Him, all things are made whole again. The time you spent with them, no matter how short or complicated, was not wasted. It lives now in eternity. And the love you gave? It is still moving, still glowing, still connecting you to them in ways you cannot yet fully understand. You will feel it more when you are quiet. You will feel it more when you stop searching and start receiving. Jesus said that the kingdom of God is within you. And in that sacred place, there is room for visits like this, quiet, holy moments when heaven brushes past your sorrow to remind you that you are not forgotten, and that the ones you've lost are not truly gone. What they needed to say was not for anyone else. It was for you. That they're proud of you. That they never wanted you to carry so much pain. That even when they could not show it, they loved you. And now, free from all that held them back, they want you to know they are still with you in a way more real than ever before. This door will not stay open forever, because heaven knows the value of holy timing. What you feel now may never come again in quite the same way, not because it's being taken from you, but because the heart cannot live in constant awareness of what is sacred. We are not meant to dwell in the mystery every day, we are meant to carry it, gently, like a light inside us. And that's what this moment is offering. A light. A truth. A love that lives beyond the world you see. Archangel Michael says, now that you have opened your heart, now that you have let the silence be filled with something more eternal than sorrow, heaven asks only that you rest in what has been given. What you carry now is sacred. It is not a story to tell the world. It is a healing wrapped in light, a message sent just for you, placed gently into the center of your spirit by a love that refused to be forgotten. There are things that only God understands fully: grief, time, memory, and the way our hearts hold on to people long after they're gone. The world teaches you to let go quickly, to move forward, to forget. But heaven teaches something different. Heaven teaches that what is true never disappears. It transforms. It deepens. It grows softer, wiser, more rooted in grace. And what you are feeling now is the beginning of that transformation. It is not the end of the pain, but the start of something more tender, a peace that does not take the past away but allows it to be part of the story without causing your soul to tremble. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul today. The voice that called to you did not do so for answers, and not to stir up what should remain in the past. It came for one purpose only, to release you from the ache of unfinished love. And now that the message has been delivered, now that the truth has found its way into the quiet corners of your soul, what remains is the gift of release. You no longer need to carry the weight of what was unsaid. You no longer need to wonder if they knew how much you cared. They knew. They know. And now, in the light of God, they carry that love with them as a treasure that cannot be touched by time. Heaven closes this door not in punishment, but in mercy. Moments like these are rare not because God is distant, but because He knows how delicate the heart is, and how holy it is to be visited by such truth. These are not things to be repeated daily, not experiences that can be summoned at will. They are gifts, given when the time is right, when the soul is ready, and when faith has prepared the heart to receive what cannot be spoken in earthly terms. And your soul, even in its tiredness, was ready. You may not have thought so, but heaven did. You may feel a soft emptiness now, not the kind that brings sadness, but the kind that follows after something meaningful has passed through. It's like the stillness that settles after a deep prayer, when you know something has shifted, even if you can't explain how. That stillness is holy. Do not rush to fill it. Let it be. Let it breathe around you. Let the quiet be your comfort, because within that silence is God, gently holding everything your heart has just walked through. You have carried so much for so long. More than anyone knows. And now, for the first time in a while, you are being invited to lay it all down, not because forgetting is the goal, but because healing is. Jesus never asked us to forget those we've lost. He never told us to let go of love just because someone is no longer with us in body. Instead, He promised that where He is, we will one day be also. And in that promise is the quiet hope that the ones we've loved are not gone forever, only waiting, just a little ahead of us, held in the arms of the same Savior who holds us now. There is beauty in that waiting. There is peace in knowing that this life is not all there is, and that one day, the love you feel now will no longer have to stretch across the veil. One day, it will be face to face again. One day, the voice that reached you now will no longer be just a whisper carried by grace, it will be familiar and close, and wrapped in light that never fades. That is what heaven offers. That is what Jesus makes possible. And that is what your heart has been allowed to glimpse, just for this moment. So walk gently now. Speak softly to yourself. You are not the same as you were before you opened this message. Something has changed, not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly and completely. A part of you has been touched by eternity. And even when you return to your daily life, even when the noise of the world begins to rise again, that part of you will still carry the calm of this holy moment. Nothing can take it from you. Nothing can undo what heaven has done. Type Amen if you surrender fully to God's will. Archangel Michael stands not as a figure of fear, but as a protector of sacred truth. His voice was not a warning of loss, but a call to listen before the time passed. And you listened. You said yes to the whisper. You opened your heart to what most would miss. And because of that, something eternal has been healed inside you. No one else needs to know. God knows. The soul who loved you knows. And now, so do you. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brain wave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. The window is open, but not forever, and every second you wait is wealth slipping from your hands, so grasp it now. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet frequency and watch abundance flow into your life today. Archangel Michael says, "You have done what few are willing to do, you listened with your spirit, not your ears, and because of that, heaven has touched you in a way that will stay with you for the rest of your life." Even though the moment may begin to fade from your awareness like a dream upon waking, what it left behind is real. It is not a fading feeling. It is a holy change that has already begun to move through your soul, slowly shifting the places inside you that were once heavy with sorrow and turning them into ground where peace can grow. The one who called to you did not come to disturb your life or pull you backward into grief. They came only to offer you freedom. Not the kind of freedom the world talks about, not the kind that forgets or moves on, but the kind that lets you carry love without pain, memory without ache, and the past without feeling trapped in it. This kind of peace only comes from God. And it only arrives when you are ready to receive it, even if you didn't realize you were ready. Now that the door is gently closing, you may feel a quiet longing, not out of loss, but because something beautiful has just passed through your heart. And it is human to want it to stay, to want to hear their voice again, to hold on to what was just felt. But heaven never leaves us empty. It never takes without giving. What you felt was a moment, yes, but what you carry now is permanent. What you've received will keep blooming inside you, long after the moment has passed, like a flower watered by light you cannot see. The voice of the one who loved you is no longer reaching from a place of pain or confusion. It is rising from the highest peace, from a presence so soaked in the mercy of God that all that's left in them is love. That love is no longer limited by words, by time, by body, or fear. It flows freely now, from their spirit to yours, and nothing can separate it. This is not imagination. It is divine connection. It is what Christ made possible when he defeated death, not just for himself, but for every soul who follows him into the light. If there are still tears, let them come. There is no shame in them. Even Jesus wept, and his tears were not weakness, but love made visible. Your tears now are not a sign of brokenness, but of something holy passing through. They carry no despair, only release. Only the softness that comes when healing begins to take the place of hurt. This is what it means to be touched by heaven. Not to be made perfect, not to suddenly stop missing the ones you love, but to be given enough peace to carry the love forward, without being held captive by the pain. You might feel different now, even if nothing around you has changed. That's because something inside you has been made new. Your heart has let go of what it no longer needed to carry. And in that letting go, you've made room for something better, something eternal, something clean and full of light. This is what God desires for every one of His children. That we would not live buried under sorrow, but walk gently through it, knowing that on the other side, there is a garden of peace waiting to bloom. Type 1717 to affirm your life is in God's hands. Even though the message has come and gone, you are not alone. Archangel Michael did not leave your side. The angels have not disappeared. They remain close, not hovering above with fear or judgment, but near you with quiet strength, watching over your path. You may not hear them, but you will feel them, in sudden courage when you feel weak, in unexpected comfort when you feel tired, and in that inner knowing that you are being held by something greater than yourself. And most of all, the one you loved, the one who passed, is not gone from your story. They are part of your journey still, not by returning to this life, but by praying over you from the next. In the presence of God, they are more themselves than ever before. And their greatest joy is now to see you live without the chains of regret, without the weight of wondering, without the ache of not knowing. Because now, you do know. You know they are at peace. You know they loved you. And you know they are with God. Let that truth be enough. Let it steady you. Let it guide you gently into the days ahead. You are not walking alone, and you never were. The voice that called to you was a gift, but it was also a reminder that even in the silence, heaven listens. Even in the ordinary, God moves. Even in your sorrow, Christ stands beside you. And even when all else falls away, love remains, because God is love, and love never ends. Archangel Michael says, now that your heart has been touched by the light of something far greater than this world, you are being asked to walk gently with it, to let it settle deep within you like soft rain falling into dry ground. You are not the same as you were before. Even if the world looks the same, even if no one around you knows what has just passed between you and heaven, your spirit knows. It recognizes the sacredness of what has taken place. It carries it now, not loudly, not to be displayed, but quietly, like a secret that brings comfort with every breath. The one who reached for you has returned to God's perfect peace. Their voice, once heavy with all the things that couldn't be said, has been lifted into something eternal, gentle, holy, complete. They do not need to speak again, because their love has already reached you, and the message they carried has already been delivered. What they waited for, prayed for, and longed for has now come to pass. You have heard them, and your heart has opened wide enough to be healed. What comes next is not more signs, not more messages, but the slow unfolding of peace. It will come quietly, like the warmth that follows the first light of morning. It will not arrive all at once. It will rise in you softly, in the moments when you feel a little lighter, a little less weighed down, a little more free to breathe again. That is the real miracle. Not in what was spoken, but in what it leaves behind. Type 1818 to claim miracles and breakthroughs. God is always near to the broken-hearted, not to take away their pain immediately, but to sit with them in it, to whisper love into the empty spaces, to show them that no grief is too deep for His mercy. He does not rush your healing. He does not expect you to smile when your heart is tired. But He walks with you, step by step, even when you do not feel Him. And now, more than ever, He is walking close, because you've allowed him in through your willingness to believe, to trust, to feel something most cannot explain. This is the kind of faith that heaven honors, not the loud kind, not the kind that needs to be seen or praised, but the quiet, trembling kind that opens up when no one is looking and says, "I believe there's more." And there is more. So much more than this life has shown you. So much more than sorrow, than endings, than loss. The kingdom of heaven is not some distant realm. It's around you now. It's within you. It's in every moment when you choose love over fear, trust over doubt, peace over panic. And it is especially near when you remember that those who have gone are not gone at all, only transformed. The one who passed, whose presence you still feel in quiet moments, is part of the communion of saints now, those who pray for us, love us, and wait for us, all while standing in the presence of God. They do not dwell in sadness. They do not carry pain. They are light, they are love, and they are near in ways the world cannot measure. You may no longer feel their voice clearly, because the door has gently closed, but the effects of their message will stay with you. They came for a purpose, and now that purpose has been fulfilled. You are not left alone. The same God who made that moment possible remains with you still. His Spirit surrounds you like the quiet warmth of a blanket pulled close after a long storm. You will begin to feel more stillness where there used to be restlessness. More hope where there used to be confusion. More grace where there used to be fear. This is what healing looks like, not the disappearance of what hurt you, but the transformation of it into something holy. Do not be surprised if you begin to live differently, even if nothing outward has changed. Because inwardly, you have been changed. When heaven reaches into a soul and speaks, it never leaves that soul the same. The grief you carried has been touched by light, and that light is now part of you. Let it move gently through your life. Let it teach you to slow down, to love more deeply, to listen more carefully, not just to others, but to God's still voice within. Your journey is not over. There is still so much ahead. But now, you walk with something you did not have before, a deep knowing that you are not forgotten, not abandoned, not invisible to the ones you've loved or the God who made you. Their love surrounds you. His love holds you. And the path before you, though not without struggle, is now lit by something eternal. You have received what so many cry out for and never hear. You listened when it mattered most. And now, heaven asks only that you walk forward with gentleness, carrying this light not as a banner, but as a quiet flame that will guide your steps and warm others who are still in the dark. What if the fastest path to wealth was already inside your mind, waiting to be activated by a powerful sound wave? Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it begins drawing opportunities, success, and financial freedom like never before. Imagine the relief of no more bills and the joy of living your dreams. This is more than an offer, it is a divine turning point. Your destiny is waiting, but only if you choose to move now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on this ancient brain wave today. Type 1919 if you believe healing is yours. Archangel Michael says, now is the time to return to your life, not as someone who is burdened by mystery, but as someone who has been touched by God's mercy and sent back into the world carrying something rare and holy. What you've been given is not just a moment of comfort, it is a seed of transformation, planted deep in your soul by the hand of heaven itself.